So the question from the guy in the audience was, what do I do if I've been in a relationship for 9 years and then I break up like 4 days ago is what you said it, right? You broke up 4 days ago. It's so fascinating that you broke up 4 days ago because for anybody that's on my social media, you know that I broke up with my partner 4 days ago. So pretty fascinating. There's a lot of people breaking up as we're coming to the end of 2019. It took me 6 hours to get over the breakup. Exactly 6 hours. And I got a lot of heat. I went online and I basically put a picture of myself on a date in an intimate way with the other person, with the new person. And I got so much flack from a small group of people. There was a much wider group of people that were like, good on you, well done, great job. And I want to explain to you why what I did is not only the right thing to do ethically, it is the right thing to do emotionally for you and for them. And so I'm going to show you why. And it's fascinating because I only broke up a few days ago with my one partner. And actually I ended up talking to a previous partner from like 9 years ago about the breakup because I had also moved on within 6 hours then. It takes me, within 24 hours I'll move on, but I can usually do it within about 6. And my previous partner from like 8 years ago, she was like, yeah, I was so happy you moved on. It was great. Like I knew it would happen and I was very happy for you. But my current partner, the minute I moved on, was devastated. She was like so angry about it. And I can understand why, but not really. And I'm going to show you why. So when you break up with somebody, your brain believes that your source of oxytocin is your partner. And your partner, therefore, is the only place you can get oxytocin from. And this becomes very dangerous when you break up because your brain is suddenly like, we don't have oxytocin anymore. There's no laughter, there's no good conversation, there's no touch, there's no physical intimacy. And so your brain completely freaks out because your partner is the source. Now, in some relationships, your partners may even use affection against you. So I want to ask you, you were in a relationship for 9 years, right? Is that that's what you said? Did your partner ever withhold affection during fights, during arguments, periods of time when you didn't behave the way they wanted you to? Does that sound familiar?
No.
Okay, great. All right, that's great. So if they never withheld affection, that's wonderful. But a lot of people do experience that. They experience this thing where their partner is withholding it. And so almost like a drug dealer who's holding onto your oxytocin, they can control your behavior. If you want to get the oxytocin that I will provide you by making you laugh, being nice to you, you must behave the way that I want. And it's a very dangerous pattern to get into. And so once that partner becomes an ex-partner, if you're in a situation where they were the only source of oxytocin for you, the minute they're gone and they're no longer available, you start to experience withdrawal symptoms. You don't have oxytocin and it's physical pain. They can actually chart this and see it, that people feel real pain in our minds, in our bodies. There's all sorts of problems. And oxytocin would fix that because pain triggers cortisol, which is a stress chemical, and oxytocin will neutralize the stress chemical to make you feel better. So in short, the fastest way to get over your ex is to get a new partner. You have to show your brain that oxytocin can come from a different source. And the faster you generate oxytocin with somebody else, the better. Now, I've been teaching for years that the minute the relationship is over, you no longer hold anything to the last person. They lose all say over anything in your life. When you're with somebody, there is a commitment to each other and there is an agreement. I will compromise on things for your happiness and you compromise for my happiness. Relationships shouldn't be that way. That isn't how they should go, but a lot of people do it. You enter into a societal agreement that this is what's going to happen. Once the relationship is over, there is this weird thing in society that's like, you need to grieve for a period of time. And it's not actually true. You don't. You don't have to grieve. What's fascinating is at some point, one of you will move on. The one that moves on first, the other one is almost always upset. The other one is almost, I can't believe they moved on. I can't believe, of course you can. You broke up. Of course they moved on. That was the point. But one of the reasons why people wait is like this hope that it's going to get fixed, this hope that later on, like one of the things, and again, it was a very small group of people that were very loud, were like, it's disrespectful that you moved on so quickly. It's like, no, it isn't. I'm single. The minute I'm single, I'm allowed to move on. I don't have to wait. And I can sit and be upset and wallow in grief for a period of time and risk developing depression, because I understand that my source of oxytocin went away. Or I can just go and get more oxytocin right now. I can grieve my partner with a new source of oxytocin from someone else. And you know what's fascinating is the minute you get this, that doesn't matter. Now, the other argument that people say is, well, then you're just using this person. Well, that all depends on how much knowledge they have about what's going on. When I moved on, I said to this person, I just got out of a bad relationship today. I'm looking to go out, have fun, and meet somebody that wants to hang out and, chill and have some fun. I didn't mention physical intimacy. That I didn't say specifically that I'm looking for sex, because that isn't what I was looking for. I was looking for time occupying. I didn't want to sit indoors and think about things. I wanted to go out and have fun. But they knew that I'd just broken up that day. They knew the situation. And they said, sure, I'm totally cool to hang out with you under this situation. And they knew there's a chance that I might be a rebound, that I might just be needing this and then that may not be what I want. There's no promise of a long-term relationship. There's no promise of anything. It's just fun for an evening. They were bored, they were free, I was bored, I was free, and I didn't want to sit and dwell on it. And they were willing to hang out and have me not dwell on it. But when I was out, I didn't talk about my ex and talk about the breakup. I had fun. We enjoyed it. Went to dinner, had a laugh, joked, focused on building oxytocin in them, focused on building oxytocin in myself. In doing so, that faded rapidly. By the end of the evening, I was not looking at this as my source of oxytocin anymore. And so like I said, when this became public and everyone knew that I moved on, which I did on purpose, because as a dating coach, I want people to know that you can move on straight away. And there is no better time to be real about something than when it's real, than to be vulnerable and say to somebody, I practice what I preach. I believe that when you break up with somebody, you must move on straight away. And I truly believe it. And the only time you shouldn't is if you don't want to. If you want to grieve for a while, if you want to sit alone and work out what's going on, then that's what you should do. But no one should tell you. No one should dictate to you, you have to stay alone. You have to not go out. That is the problem. And so when I looked at the thread and all the people that were commenting, about 80% said thank you. Said, you helped me. This was good. I had past students come on board and said, I took your advice and it fixed everything. It was a tiny group of people that were like, this is disrespectful, this is wrong. And they don't get to tell me what to do because I'm not dating them. And I'm not dating my ex either. I am free. I do what I want to do. The worst thing you can do is when you leave a partner, allow them to continue to control you after you leave. They lost that right. It's over. And now you only owe the only thing you owe is to yourself and your own happiness. And if you will be happy staying alone, do it. And if not, then go out and meet somebody straight away. But just be open with them. Tell them what's going on. Tell them you just broke up. Tell them you're not looking for anything serious. Let them make the decision. And that is the key to moving on rapidly. So the reason you still feel this is in the last 4 days. I love that you're coming out with this guy and you guys are going out and doing it. You got to move on fast. Start finding other people. And remember that oxytocin is generated not just from sex. Good conversation, laughter, touch, develop those things. Something that I'll often tell people is like, go get a massage after you break up with somebody because that oxytocin release will help you. You can do a massage a day for 7 days. That's going to build oxytocin. You can do that straight away. That's going to help. Go and do some comedy shows with some friends. That's going to help too. Meet new people, jump into online dating, get talking to people, even if it's over text. That's going to help too. As an added benefit, go to an animal sanctuary, hang out with some cats and dogs and hug them. Will also release oxytocin. Like truly, just collect oxytocin everywhere you can. If you do that, everything gets better. If instead you start focusing on lashing out and being angry or trying to trigger jealousy or doing one of these other things, that is going to hold you back. That is when you're going to feel bad. The moving on thing that you need to do shouldn't be done to throw it in somebody else's face. It should be because you want to. And it's absolutely cool to shout about it from the rooftops, providing it's a focus on you and what you want and not making somebody else upset.
Right.
So